Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
This one's wife. Raging fury. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Anger is a trait and an emotion which many people have. Anger is a narcissistic trait. In some instances, anger can actually be useful when it is held within empathic traits, i.e., the emotional empathy directs the anger in an appropriate way. So, for instance, you might find yourself angry that your friend is being bullied by somebody on a night out. Your anger causes you to tear or strip off the bully, rendering them speechless. It might even power you to launch into a physical assault against the bully who might be attacking your friend. Accordingly, your anger has served a useful purpose to power you to deal with the bully. It might be, for instance, a situation where you're angry that something hasn't happened, and it gives you the strength to wrench open a door to rescue somebody, or to smash something so that you can make your way in to get to somebody who needs your help. Again, the anger has been directed in an appropriate way. Fury is something more than anger. And, in my book, Fury, I go into detail about what fury actually is and how it is present in the narcissist. It's an excellent read, and I'd encourage you to look into that further to develop your understanding of what makes the narcissist behave as they do. With the narcissist, there's two types of fury, heated and cold. This fury sits beneath the surface, in essence, ready to break through at a moment's notice. The narcissism uses this fury to power the narcissist to behave in a particular way, to nullify threats, to gather more fuel. The expression of fury starts to cause fuel levels to drop, but it is important because it powers the narcissist to deal with threats. Heated ignited fury is invariably seen with lesser narcissists. It can also be seen amongst mid-range, but less so, and to an even lesser extent amongst the greater narcissists. Cold ignited fury may occasionally be seen with lessers, but it's fairly rare. It's more often seen amongst mid-range and with the greater narcissist. Whether you get to see this fury depends upon, ultimately, the ability of the narcissist to control it. It's there, ready, simmering, waiting to appear. Lesser narcissists, as you know, have a lower control threshold, and therefore you're more likely to see heated ignited fury bursting from them on a regular basis. Think Alec Baldwin and his eruptions of fury when he attacks people in the street. Think Andrew Tate when he explodes in one of his monologues. Mid-range narcissists have a better control over their ignited fury. They tend to use a mix of cold and heated. So there will be instances where you will see them effectively lose their shit, or, in other instances, that cold, baleful death stare makes an appearance, something we have seen on numerous instances from this one's wife. The greaters have the best control over their ignited fury, meaning that often it's never even seen at all, particularly in a public situation. Mid-range narcissists and greaters operate facades. Therefore, there is an inherent tension between the fury that wishes to escape and the maintenance of that facade. Thus, in some instances, usually seen with mid-range narcissists, ultimately the need for control in the expression of fury wins out, and we see a fracture in the facade, something we saw in yesterday's video about this one's wife with the mask slip. This one's wife regularly contains her fury. Some narcissists do so, and you wouldn't even realize. Their expression doesn't alter from a smile or from just looking around themselves in what appears to be a calm and measured manner. But for someone as this one's wife, she often struggles to contain the fury. It's there, wanting to come to the surface. It's like breaking wind that wants to escape and you're having to hold it in, straining the sinews to ensure that you don't release that noxious gas into a public setting. For this one's wife, what causes her fury to come to the fore? Well, it's where there is a threat to her control. And as you know, because of the compartmentalization of the narcissism that operates on a second-by-second basis, she will face repeated threats to her control. In some instances, they're easily dealt with, and the threat is nullified before the ignited furies even started to make its way to the surface. But in other instances, the threat to control can be sustained, and in such circumstances, the fury starts to boil, if you will. And in those instances, we get an excellent glimpse of this one's wife as she attempts to keep that fury under control. This occurred at the Invictus Games. You will see in the thumbnail that there is a picture showing this one's wife with Harry and another individual, a Frenchman, a competitor, who is presenting what looks like some kind of lunchbox to Harry, which is rather ironic after recent shenanigans about lunchboxes. The fact that Harry's attention is on the lunchbox and that he is receiving a gift from the non-intimate tertiary source that is the French competitor means that this one's wife is in effect ignored. Now, there is no deliberate ignoring on the part of the competitor nor Harry. They're just engrossed in their own conversation, and this one's wife is alongside them. But remember, in the world of the narcissist, she must be at the centre of everything, second by second. And as soon as Harry's attention goes elsewhere, as soon as the competitor is focused on Harry and not her, that wounds her. It tells her that she isn't important. It tells her that she doesn't matter. Her world starts to crumble. In order to prevent the collapse of that world, her narcissism immediately turns the valve to allow the fury to come to the fore, so that it will then cause her to erupt, so that attention will come back onto her. In effect, it's a little bit like a toddler having a tantrum to get attention for themselves. Sometimes it's heated fury, sometimes it's cold fury. Here, the heated fury is trying to make its way to the surface. The issue, however, is that she's in a public situation. She's dealing with members of the French team, she is being photographed and filmed, and therefore the narcissism's facade management is essentially stating, "Don't let it through, hang in there guys, keep it under wraps." The fury's saying, "We need to be released, control is not being obtained, let us out." And there is this battle between the facade management, which is trying to maintain the facade for the assertion of control over the scene, and the ignited fury, which is trying to make its appearance in order to get attention back onto her. How do we know that this ignited fury is there, and how do we know that it's straining against the facade management, which is being stretched and put under severe pressure? Well, look at this. This is a close-up of the picture when Harry is involved with the French competitor. The face and neck of this one's wife tells us that the facade is fighting against the fury coming to the fore, that underneath the surface she is raging. First of all, note the small smile. It's fixed. It isn't natural. It's as if she wants to barf and she's having to keep her lips shut in order to prevent the vomit from spattering forth. Her eyes are fixed on what's going on, but you can see that there's no smile in those eyes. There is malcontent. The jaw is fixed and rigid, acting in sync with those pursed lips. And then, the real defining aspect is the veins bulging on her neck, the sinews straining as a consequence of the fury that rages beneath the surface that she can just about contain. The fury wants to pour forth so that she grabs the lunchbox and yells, "You should be giving one to me, you French twat!" shoving Harry out of the way and then running away with the lunchbox over her head, yelling manically, "It's mine! It's all mine!" Of course, the facade management doesn't want that to happen, because it would mean that she would lose control over the scene, over the other people that are present. And therefore, it acts like a dam that's under severe pressure to try and keep this fury intact, to allow the threat to control to pass, so that attention then comes back onto her without her buggering it up by suddenly erupting like a volcano. Thus, we have in one picture an excellent encapsulation of the narcissist's fury that one always finds beneath the surface, and how her facade management is straining and just about keeping it under control. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.